Trust is very important whether you're talking about a client who's buying a house that's $80,000, $180,000, or $680,000. That's their home.
Welcome back to the Modern Agent Podcast. My name is Logan Ricchetti with Modern Realty. This podcast is a combination of thoughts and opinions on the real estate market in Midland, Michigan with our local real estate agents from Modern Realty. Our mission is to create informed and confident buyer and seller clients, so tune in to learn more about Midland's real estate market.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us with the Modern Agent Podcast. My name is Eryn Travis, and today I'm here with Glenn Wyman. We're going to talk a little bit about real estate and the differences that we've had in our careers. So,
looking forward to it, Eryn.
Yeah, me too. So Glenn, I wanted to ask you, why real estate, and why at 63 did you start real estate?
That's a great question, Eryn, and thank you. Well, I always loved real estate. I always had a liking to do real estate, but I was in IT technology and I was doing very well. So it was something that I always thought about and I always kept in tune with, and I had the radar on. And I don't know, it's just something that was always on my radar screen, but it was out there. Did
you like the idea of the career path of real estate, or was it just like the real estate market industry?
It was the real estate market, and the career path for me was when I retired from IT, then it was a great platform for me to get into real estate and go that way.
That's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the challenges you feel like you've faced as just because you've come in later in your career, in your life, than other realtors who maybe started younger?
Yeah, there's a paradigm shift. I mean, I love modern because I work with young people like you guys, and you're all like my kids, and it's kind of crazy. But I always work with young people in IT, so I have a young mind because I was always used to innovative things and technology. So the challenge was just learning over at 63 was very difficult because your mind, you get to a point in life where you just think that, I don't need to learn this. So it was like you have to be young again, and that was the challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine that mentally would be a leap. However, I bet being in IT kept your mind kind of sharp anyway.
Yes.
And so learning the new programs or language that you have to speak in real estate would have been a challenge, but probably something you've been used to in IT with it always changing. Being
Correct.
Able to evolve and adapt quickly in an ever-changing market, because real estate changes every day, all the time. Things are changing. So that's really unique that you would have that ability and that already that skill set built in for you.
Yes. Couldn't have been said better. Always change was always a part of my career. Change was like tomorrow and today and yesterday. So yeah, you're exactly right. That parallels very well, Eryn.
Yeah. Is there anything that you feel like you've learned in real estate over the last few years that you don't just apply to your real estate career, but take into your personal life every day?
Yeah, I think now that I've had a few closings under my belt.
A few. Quite a few.
And just the emotional side, for me, it's learning to realize that not everybody thinks like you do. If you look at a house and you think this, and they're going to think totally different, your clients. And just the emotions, to keep them in check, because it's easy to get drawn in. I was in the corporate world, so it was so aesthetic, right? So it was a transaction. And there were personalities, but it was a corporate type of thing.
It wasn't personal. You didn't build those relationships because it had a definite end date.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So when you sell a house, it's like what I think and what hits me is this is a big deal. It's a very large purchase, and sometimes I'm numb to the fact that, wait a minute, it's not just a rinse and release type of thing. It's like, hey, this is real. This is the real deal, and you're dealing with real emotions, and it's a big responsibility. So it kind of hit me pretty hard.
It is. It's a big responsibility to know that at the end of the closing day, that may be it for you in terms of the transaction. You'll follow up. You'll maintain that relationship, but the responsibility of that is kind of over for you as an agent.
Yes.
But it's the next 30 years still for that client.
Right.
And that's why we love to build real estate relationships with our clients is because they're going to have a question in a year. First time they get their summer or winter tax bill, or when they have to file taxes and they get those homestead exemption type of forms in the mail and they don't know what to do, or, the furnace goes out and they need somebody to recommend a furnace. All the things that you don't really think about after a transaction that your clients do follow up and ask you. Do you have any advice for anyone who would consider an interest in real estate but maybe feel like they're not at the right time in their life to do real estate? Is there any advice you have for anyone who might feel like there's a time limit or the right time for that?
I'm been around a long time, so I've had a lot of life experiences at my age, as you know. So people ask me, is it the right time to buy a house, Glenn? And I'm like, are you still breathing? Yes, it is.
That's a great
because
answer.
we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But with that aspect of me, I thought about getting into real estate too, going back to that question. I met with Matt Smith for 3 years. We had lunch and breakfast, and I quizzed him, and he mentored me a lot. And this was not I'm going to do real estate in a month.
Like a spur of the moment.
Yeah, it was not a spur of the moment. And Modern Realty, I have friends at other locations here in Midland. I just like Modern. I liked what Logan had to offer. But going back to your question, which is a great question, I tell people that, they'll say, well, Glenn, I'm thinking about doing real estate. And I'm like, for number one, it's a long haul business. It's not something, people think it's a glorified business. It's not any different than any other business. And you have to own it. And it's like starting your own business, really.
It is.
Because you are your own business. And I think people get into real estate and they don't realize that, oh my gosh, I got to work hard and this is going to be a long haul thing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the general consumers understand the longevity of the business, especially over the course of 2019, 2020, 2021. Correct. As someone who's been in real estate since 2015. I got my license in 2016. That was a tough one. I've seen the market when it was not as crazy as the COVID days. I've seen it before that, and I think that we had a big influx in real estate agents that got their license during that time because it looked easier.
Right.
It looked easier than what really was the career. When you talk about this career, it's important to explain to potential agents that you have to consider your brand. You have to consider your marketing. You have to consider all of the things that you have to build yourself, because everyone just knew me as Eryn Travis. In fact, before I sold phones, everyone knew me as Eryn Travis, the Verizon wireless representative. I didn't have a brand that I had to publish out there. And so switching into a career where your name has to mean something and you have to make people aware that you're not just Eryn Travis, you're Eryn Travis Realtor with Modern Realty. And you have to express the confidence and the knowledge and the professionalism across the board when they didn't know that previously. That's really hard at any stage in life.
Yes, it is.
At any stage in life.
It is.
And I think you've done a fantastic job in 2 years. You wouldn't have such a successful 2-year career if you hadn't. I mean, Modern Realty definitely helped because it's a fantastic company to work for.
Yes,
it provides so much support for all their agents, but we are individual contractors and we do have to make sure that we are moving forward with our business and being conscientious of that.
Good point. And it's to your point, just being self-motivated every day, marketing. Hey, I'm 63. I'm on Facebook. Not a lot of 63-year-olds are on Facebook promoting their business. So I'm kind of
that's true.
different there. But I've learned a lot from Logan. He's taught me so much about self-promotion and that you got to be out there every day. And you're as good as you want to be. You're as good as you want to be.
I love that.
And what's the best version of Glenn Wyman doing real estate, right? So I compete against myself.
Yeah.
So I want to do better.
I think that's a good mindset that a lot of Modern Realty agents have, is competing against ourselves, because I'm sure it's like this in any industry. When you compare yourself to your competitors, it takes away from the purpose,
Yes.
And something that's really important to me in my career is reminding myself, why did I do this? Why did I start? What was my goal And what is my reasoning for waking up every day and choosing real estate, even on the worst days and on the best days?
Right.
Reminding myself that it's not about, am I selling more houses than Glenn Wyman? It's about, how can I help my clients today? How can I be my best real estate self for my clients?
Great point. Great point. And Rob Zintek, our friend, he always reminds me, Glenn, it's humans first and houses second. And
Absolutely.
That's fundamentals. You know, I know Logan will use fundamentals in baseball a lot, and I'm a baseball guy, and I always think it's the same way in real estate. It's fundamentals. It's calling people back. It's following up. It's, churning late Friday night on a, you want to go to the movie with your wife and you're writing an offer and you're like, okay, and keeping the first things first. It's important. Yes. But also, for me, you guys know that I like work around the clock, and I'm like, you got to learn to rest a little bit too, and that's a struggle I have most
Something
days.
I love that Logan Ricchetti has said to me since day one in real estate is, you don't get lucky in real estate. It's about the work you put in. It's about your consistency and the effort that you're making. And when you stay top of mind with your clients, you're not getting lucky. You're getting you're sowing what you planted.
Yes, I agree. And it's a very complicated, very multifaceted business. I
absolutely
had 3 closings yesterday, and and everyone was different. And I got to one closing. She says, "Where are the trust documents?" I'm like, "Oh crap, I haven't had that one yet." So I happen to have them at home. So I ran home, and she had given me her documents so I could give them to get them copied. And like, "Oh, we need the originals."
Oh no.
Got it done.
But
I'm like, I didn't have this happen yet.
Yeah, that's part of real estate. I at 9 years in, I'm in my 9th year of real estate, and I am still overcoming things that I've never experienced before. I had a listing go live today, and I've had plenty of listings where the seller has tenants living in the home. Plenty of listings like that. However, I've never had a situation where tenants were unhappy with showings and didn't want the home to be viewed or sold. So that was a new obstacle to overcome, and it reminded me to go back to my basics and taught me about just client expectation management and making sure that my client isn't just my seller. Those tenants are involved in the sale because that's their home. And I need to make sure that my communication is respectful and clear with them just as much as it is with the seller. Because just like I said earlier, your brand is your name. Those tenants, though I'm not helping them buy, they know me. My name is on a sign in their front yard.
Right.
They know who I am. And the way that I communicate with them will directly impact how they feel, not just about me, but could potentially feel about our entire industry and about realtors in general. So it's important to keep your head level.
It is. And that's integrity too, because I always try to mentor young people that are in the business or ask me questions. And I always think about my career when I did really well in IT, and I would have large deals. And I remember early on, it was like, you were after the biggest deal, right? But as you mature and you grow in any industry, you learn that it's the long-term relationship. And if you don't have integrity, it doesn't matter. And what you're talking about, what I hear is integrity with your clients, doing the right thing, even when it's late at night, even when you don't want to, even when no one's...
Even on a Sunday.
Even on a Sunday, when no one's going to thank you for going out in the snow. And I remember my first showing... it was Super Bowl Sunday, and they called and wanted to go see a house, and I'm like, yeah, we'll go.
Glenn said yes.
And
on a Super Bowl Sunday.
The door is locked. It's frozen. We couldn't get the door open, and another couple comes and says, well, we're a Zillow call, and our agent is in here. Would you show us the house? I had no idea what I was doing, but it was. I'll never forget that. And I grabbed those clients and I sold those clients. It was fun.
That's amazing.
I did get to watch the Super Bowl, by the way.
There's always reruns, right? I try to remind myself that even when real estate emergencies come up and you feel like you're compromising those boundaries for your personal life, for your career, a lot of things can be done later. On Sunday, I was out to lunch with my kids and my family, and I was eating, and I got a call, and it was a very important call, and I had to stand up and walk outside the restaurant to take the call, which was, I'm sure, not everyone at the table's favorite opinion of how I should have handled that situation, but some things you have to do. And also, it's important for your clients to feel important. If they don't feel important, then they're not going to trust you.
Good point. Trust is huge.
Trust is very important whether you're talking about a client who's buying a house that's $80,000, $180,000, or $680,000. That's their home. That is not just a building. It's not just paperwork. That's where they're going to sit down every day and eat dinner. That's where they're going to hold their personal effects. That's where they're going to host family events. That's where they relax. And you need to treat that with respect.
Yes. I saw a house yesterday, and I said, "Oh, guys, this is great. This house is going to be appreciated." Oh no, this is a retirement home. And I heard that, and that's like, wow, that kind of hit a chord with me, and I thought, wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, a retirement home is a big deal. To know that that's where they plan to just absolutely relax and enjoy and have their downtime, their well-earned downtime at that point.
Exactly. So all good points. It's this is as I listen to you describe this, it reminds me of how much responsibility we have and how trust is important to each and every person we come in contact with. Mm-hmm. That when we take a client on, that for us, sometimes you think it's a transaction, but to them, it's their life, right? My wife reminds me all the time, Glenn, this is the biggest purchase they're going to make in the next 20 years, so make sure you take care of them.
Yeah. Sometimes I had a client last year who was looking to buy essentially their retirement home, but what they called their forever home. And something they reminded me throughout the transaction, but told me up front, was that this was their entire life savings. Everything that they own, everything that they had saved. They were finally ready to move out of the renting world and into purchasing their home, and they didn't want to move again and again and again. This was the home that they had some small children. They wanted to raise those kids there and retire in this home. This was every penny they had ever saved was going to this home. And that, I treat every transaction that way, because whether it is or isn't, that amount of responsibility is the same, is that's somebody's home.
Absolutely. So Eryn, what, you've been in this industry for 10 years, is that correct?
9.
9 years?
9.
I'm giving you, it's like dog
I mean,
years.
who's
It's
counting
like,
at that rate?
It's like 20, because it's like dog years, right? So what, you talked about getting up in the morning. What keeps you wanting to do real estate?
What keeps me wanting to do real estate?
Because your position's multi.
Yeah, so I
right?
am a real estate agent, and that's what people most know me for. However, I do have a role that I work on staff in Modern Realty, and so I get to see a lot of the back end process and support that happens for the agents, and I'm involved, very, very hands-on involved in that. And so what keeps me waking up every morning is mostly my kids, knowing that I am got to support them one way or another. So right. I think a lot of people, that's really why they have their job and wake up every day and go to work, is for their family. And so that, I would say that's the most important reason. But to choose real estate over and over again would be the confidence that I've gained in myself and the ability to give that confidence to buyers and sellers, to know that things that they may only do once or twice in their life, they are capable of, and they will be successful, and I will help them be successful in what they want to do. That is empowering. And over the course of 9 years, I have gained a lot of my own personal confidence of building my career and doing that myself. So that would be why I choose real estate every single day.
Excellent. So how do you balance real estate with your family life? I mean, what are some of the challenges that someone like yourself or anyone, you worked with a lot of successful people at Modern. I mean, have you learned from them about balance? Because some of us never shut it off, and I'm guilty of that, right? I think of Matt Smith, for example.
I think that every real estate agent has had times in their life where they've been guilty of that, of not turning off real estate and balancing their priorities. And I would say it's a learning lesson, and everyone's personal life is different. And so what is a boundary for me might not be a boundary for you, and vice versa. My personal boundary is I don't work on real estate on Sundays as much as I'm able to. I try not to work on real estate on Sundays. That is my personal time with my family. But I think that the biggest advice I could give to someone on trying to juggle it all, if they have a family or another career, or if they have another job or anything else that might be as important to them and is a priority, is to just always stay goal motivated. I like to prioritize my days into goals so I know what's most important to get done. And that helps me stay in check of obviously my kids come first. So I need to make sure that my kids have childcare and they're fed and they're clothed and they're happy and safe. That is my first goal every day. And then from there on out, I move forward through my day. But yeah, I would say juggling your personal life with real estate, it can be messy. It can be so messy, Glenn, because I would say that my identity sometimes blurs into being a real estate agent. I am the same person no matter what's going on. So if I'm just walking through the store and somebody starts talking about real estate, I'm not just going to be a mom shopping. I am still a realtor, and I'm going to, be able to have that conversation. And that can be really hard to definitively separate those two. And honestly, if I'm being quite transparent, I wouldn't want to separate those two because I'm the same person no matter what. Agreed. So sometimes it's not about juggling, but learning how to put it all together into one puzzle. Take the puzzle pieces and fit them together.
That's an excellent answer. That's good. That's very good. You've been with Modern for 9 years. You've seen a lot. What are some of the struggles you've seen? I mean, obviously COVID, that was an interesting time. I come in the middle of COVID, so that was an interesting time. So I'm post-COVID now. But what are some of pros and cons? I mean, I know you're involved in a lot of things. We're a small firm. You're a great asset to our company. I look up to you because I'm like, she's got the answer. Or if I mess something up, she's got the answer. So what kind of things do you look at and say, wow, we need to move in this direction, or what's on the horizon? Because you see a lot of things, right? Yeah. You get all this data coming in from all of us.
I do. I see a lot of different perspectives of a lot of things. Something that I've really trained and grown in my personal life, especially in the last 5 years, is to not jump the gun. As you mentioned earlier, real estate is emotional. It's very emotional. And sometimes as realtors, we can be so busy running to solve all the problems that we don't take a step back and breathe. Look at the entire situation, big picture. With the NAR situation that's going on that everybody's talking about, and no definitive decision has really been made or put in place yet, it's important to step back and say, before we jump the gun, before we lose our minds, and if we incite panic, everyone will panic. Let's just see how it goes. And then once we know what the situation really is to unfold, we can make calculated, educated decisions to move forward and continue to conduct business like we need to and stay in the parameters which are now set up. That's what I would say is it's extremely interesting to see that perspective, to be able to teach yourself to step back and not rush in to solve the problems and not get angry when there's an issue or panic when I had a listing one time and it was active for a few days, and then I had the seller call me and say, my basement's flooded. And immediately that was my response. I went, It's a live listing. There are showings that want to happen, and now the basement is flooded. And it would be so easy. And I look back, and I did, because I was younger in my career, I did absolutely panic. I thought I was about to break down. I was about to break down and cry. I did not know what to do. But now, in my 9th year of real estate, I would take a step back and I would take a deep breath. And I would figure out the fastest solution with the least amount of obstacles. Slowing down is monumental in this business. And slowing down doesn't mean that it's not important. Slowing down means that you're going to be prepared and that you are making rational decisions that make sense for your clients. And that's important. Because
they're not slowing down. They want a solution.
And that's not their job. Right. Their job is to not know real estate. Yeah. Your job is to know real estate. My job is to know real estate. Their job is to trust me that when I say, give me an hour to work on something, it's because I need to take a deep breath. I need to do some research. And I need to make sure that my next steps are the best steps for my client.
Perfect. So can you talk about Huddle a little bit at Modern and what that means to you? And
I will. I love Huddle. Back in the OG days, because I am considered an OG here at Modern Realty, I was one of the first agents hired in that first group. Huddle used to be called Lunch and Learn, and it was every single week, and it was fantastic. It still is fantastic, but it has changed over the course of 9 years. And I would say that Huddle is vital to a Modern Realty agent. And if you're missing Huddle, you're missing an opportunity to be your best self for your clients.
Agreed.
Huddle is an educational conversation style training that we have twice a month, and you are welcome to come. Every single Modern Realty agent, all 51 of us, are welcome to be there and to share your opinions. And the reality is, because we have 51 agents, we all have different opinions. We all have different perspectives. We all have different experiences. And when a topic comes up, it's insightful to hear what Logan Ricchetti or Kevin Crampton or Tim Sedini might think, or even Judy Hughes, who came in after me, or Cassie Cahoon, who came in after me. Anybody. It's interesting to see the personalities and the way that they would come at different situations in real estate. And I think it helps you grow as an agent, because when you understand how other people perceive situations and act towards situations, it helps you be more mindful of the way that you're acting and the potential response you could get by acting on a situation. And that's all training is learning how to be professional and overcome obstacles. That's training. And it's absolutely a benefit of being a modern agent.
And while we're on that training subject, kind of go into depth on training and tell me why modern's different when it comes to training.
I would say modern is different because Logan takes a very hands-on approach to getting to know your personality. When you're a new agent and you come into Modern Realty, he takes a moment to understand like how you would operate. And then he places you with the best mentor for your personality so that you can grow and flourish and you can learn. We have a couple of different mentors in Modern that will train you, and you'll get the same basic trainings across the board. You'll have the same education and ability to learn across the board, but putting you with a person who understands you, speaks the same type of style you speak, who moves at the same pace you move, that's important. When I looked at real estate, I did interview a few other brokerages, and it was important for me to feel like someone cared about my success and didn't just hand me a desk and a pen and say, good luck. Right. You know, I didn't want to go to a brokerage where they would just sit me in a cubicle and answer my questions if I had any. I wanted a brokerage that would come to me, give me the knowledge that I needed, set me up for success, and be there with me hand in hand the entire way. And still to this day, I call the brokers if I have an issue, which happens. You know, having that team behind you, no matter what point in your career you are, is amazing. It's very unique and special.
Agreed. That's why I'm here.
Me too. I'm glad you're here. Glenn, what's your favorite part of Modern Realty as an agent looking in? What would be the number one highlight you would recommend a realtor to choose Modern Realty over another brokerage? Why would it be Modern Realty?
I think it's the team. I think one thing that I was impressed with when I came here, how everybody welcomed me. I was older. I didn't fit in.
Oh, you fit in just fine.
I may now, but I didn't feel like it when I came. So I was like, it was just how welcoming you all were. And I'm like, man, are these guys fake? They're really nice. And you guys were very helpful. And the team, there's a lot of camaraderie. And I see it when we are setting that huddle. And I just see a team. And it's been an opportunity to work with a good opportunity for me. And everybody does have a different perspective. And they're always helpful. And they're willing to help. That wants me to help them. So there's a give and take. Yeah.
I also love that at Modern Realty, even if I don't necessarily agree, Logan Ricchetti and I are very different personality types. He's taught me so much, and he has radically changed my life and my career in ways he probably will not understand. But we are not the same person, and we do not come at the same situations with the same approach all the time. And I think that is a real benefit to be able to learn from other people. And even if we don't necessarily agree, as long as we're both doing our jobs, that's fine. You don't have to agree with everybody. Right. You don't have to be the same. Look around Modern Realty. We are not all the same.
Very diverse.
We're very diverse. And we have very diverse personalities. We have a wide range of people who are more calm and reserved. We have people who are very aggressive and outspoken. We have everywhere in between that. And we're all successful real estate agents.
I think it's like a sports team, right? We all make this thing whole, and it works.
Logan talks about it as like an army, because everybody's got their own role and everybody has a different position to play, but we're an army.
Yeah, and we go to market that way, and I like the fact that Logan lets us be who we are. He lets us run our own business, and and to me that gives me creativity and drive. That he lets me be me when I'm out in the field. He's not calling me like, hey, mystery shopping me or making sure I do my open houses correctly. And there's a lot of confidence in that I'm working with somebody that cares. But he's also innovative, and he's driving this business, and that means a lot.
Yeah, he definitely encourages us at Modern. We are encouraged all the time to think outside the box and to be unique and ourselves, and help harness that towards our real estate career. And that is very awesome, because although a brand is fantastic, I love Modern's brand, it is sometimes intimidating coming into Modern as a new agent, looking around, knowing you're competing against 50 other people. Most of them have more experience than you, have already set careers. Right. And to know that you are encouraged to not be intimidated by that, but to take that as motivation and differentiate yourself from the rest of us, and to do something different and be creative and be yourself, whether that's somebody who doesn't use Facebook, so you have to use different types of marketing. Correct. That's somebody who doesn't even have TikTok on their phone, so you have to do something different for marketing. If you don't know how to make a Facebook reel or an Instagram reel, you have to be different. We all have our own strengths, and I think that Logan does a very good job of encouraging each of us to just move forward with our strengths and not dwell on the parts that maybe aren't our strengths.
Can you talk about our birthday party coming up?
I can talk about our birthday party coming up. How did you know that that's my favorite thing that's happening right now? So in the month of July, every year, Modern Realty celebrates the birth of our company, essentially. It's almost like a birthday party. We refer to it as a birthday party in-house, but it's just an annual celebration of us being open. And this year, for 2024, we are having a humongous bash, probably the biggest one we've ever had, to include carousel pony rides, bounce houses, free food, free drinks. There's 2 food trucks that are going to be there, a dessert bar, a coffee bar, a tea bar. It's just going to be amazing. And I genuinely love this event every year, because it shows that Logan gives back to the community and Modern Realty gives back to the community. And it just shows our generosity and how much we appreciate everyone supporting our company and the growth that we've made year over year over year. And I love that I get to be a part of organizing and planning the whole event.
Wait a minute. You didn't mention that you get to see your favorite realtor.
I do. Yes. You definitely should come. You get to see your favorite real estate agent or agents. Some people work with more than one person and know all of us there. You definitely should make it out. It's July 25th, and it's from 6 to 8 p.m. at our office. It won't be a disappointment. You will have so much fun. We're going to have a live DJ this year. It's awesome. It's going to be amazing. And I think that it's going to be the best ever. But I'm a little biased. I planned it. So
can you talk a little bit about our success? I mean, Logan talks about, we're 9 years old while we're on this subject, to your point. And how many houses we saw? 1 in 4 houses in Midland? 1 in 5?
Between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5. We're right between that 20-25% market share. And we sell the most houses in the county of Midland. Our box number, our unit number, our number of sales is higher than any other brokerage in Midland County. That is something that this team has that's different than any other brokerage. Yes. Is we make a point to help the most clients. We don't necessarily concern ourselves with the price of the home or how much a client can afford, but we want to help people. We are a people-focused company, and that makes us different.
Can you talk about the Modern Pledge?
So the Modern Pledge is a document, basically, form that we present to our sellers to talk about the things that we promise to do on behalf of our clients during this listing process. Everywhere from the very beginning of we'll meet you and get your keys and copy them and schedule professional photography, staging if necessary, all of the pre-marketing that we do. And then it also goes into how we work on behalf of our sellers during the listing being live. So open houses that we schedule, the marketing that we publish during a live listing. And then it also talks about the closing side, so how we coordinate with a closer. We have a title company that's in our office, which is very, very special and convenient for us. And so the Modern Pledge is a powerful document that just shows to clients how much we're willing to work for them and the promises that we make during that process. Thank you so much for joining us today at the Modern Agent Podcast. It's been a pleasure getting to talk to you more, Glenn, and getting to know you.
Dittos.
Dittos. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Modern Agent Podcast. Please follow at Modern Realty Midland on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you need to buy or sell a house, please reach out to Modern Realty by going to www.modernrealty.us. Modern Realty, your home, our focus.